So how did you personally get involved with Nepal?
When my wife and I were teachers, and when we retired, we applied to VSO, and she said, they could send us anywhere. I might never get to Nepal, and it was our third offer, Kathmandu.
Fantastic. What were you doing there?
We both worked in the Ministry of Education. I was working in foreign aid coordination. I was helping them dealing with donors, but on the Nepal side.
As a Rotarian, how did you get involved in Nepal?
I've been a member of Rotary. I like that it's Rotary International. That means you can walk into a club anywhere in the world, but even better for us, I was able to transfer my membership to a Rotary club in Nepal.
And how did you develop links between the Southwest Peninsula and Nepal?
Well, it was a neat coincidence. Nepal became its own district the year that we left. I spoke to the man in our club, in my club in Nepal, and he was going to be the new DG, and I said, meet up with the DG from Plymouth and Cornwall and arrange to do a group study exchange.
And a group study exchange happened.
It happened from that. And 4 young people from here travelled to Nepal and spent 4 weeks living there, and 5 young Nepalis came here with a very distinguished Rotarian.
And that led to a project, didn't it?
It led to a very good water project in the mountains where women will be saved a terrible ordeal of carrying water up for animals and washing and cooking and everything. A water project will actually pump the water to their village and save them that manual labour.
And shelter box has always been important to you as well.
Well, shelter box, I was associated with shelter box before I went to Nepal, and the 2 things that give me the biggest buzz about Rotary are polio and shelter box. And I'd gone into schools and collected checks and done advocacy for shelter box. But in February this year, I actually spoke at their district conference in Nepal, 700 Rotarians from all over the country, and I did 10 minutes on shelter box. And I mentioned Haiti and capital city and an earthquake, and you didn't need to say that twice in Nepal. They made the connection.
And it's only a few weeks later the terrible earthquake happened.
Just 7 weeks after my presentation, and the terrible earthquake happened, and Nicola, my friend, who had already been in Nepal doing an evaluation for shelter box, was called again to be there when the boxes started arriving, and she spent time connecting up with the Rotarians that I'd introduced her to. So it was a lucky set of circumstances to maximise the benefit for Nepal, for Rotary and for shelter box.
And it's gone beyond that in the Southwest, hasn't it? Not just shelter box, but all sorts of other things have been happening.
Because of the group study exchange, there's a huge softness for Nepal. A lot of people, Facebook friends, Nepali Facebook friends with friends in the Southwest, friends in our district, our new district, and when they went looking for help from the clubs, they suggested, David Jones suggested each club give £100. That would have raised 3,900, and they got over 20,000, and that went straight to the Rotary district 3292, the district which is Nepal, 85 clubs. An amazing district.
And since the terrible earthquake, of course, you and other Rotarians have been getting involved with all sorts of other initiatives in the Southwest.
I'm bringing a group of people together very shortly to set up a Plymouth-Nepal partnership. I want to maximise Nepal. Plymouth has been fantastic. Outside Plymouth, Argyll, collecting at Morrison, school mufti days. Two big secondary schools raised over 4,000 each. One primary school over 2,000. There's a tremendous readiness to help Nepal. 2 Nepali restaurants in the middle of Plymouth want to help as well, and our partnership will be setting up something long term.
That's great to have that bond with the local Nepali community.
Yes, yeah. It's been very easy so far, although Nepal is starting to drop from the headlines. I read yesterday that Kathmandu has had 322 aftershocks.
Oh goodness, and you feel that it's being forgotten?
It runs the risk of being forgotten, but that's what our partnership is to counter. We want to keep it high profile and come up with some events right through to next April. We want a series of events called 1 Year On.
And presumably it's not just about raising money, there's an awareness, but
Right.
there's also things that we can actually help out there in other ways, aren't there?
Raising money, raising awareness, but also giving people some idea of what it's actually like in Nepal. There are people saying, oh, but I can't go to Nepal as a tourist or as a trekker because it's all destroyed. No, it isn't destroyed. 98% of the buildings in Kathmandu are still standing. There are lots of things that people could do, but we need to resuscitate their readiness to travel and trek in Nepal.
Encourage people to go there on holiday.
To go there on holiday.
Absolutely.
Enjoy it.
Yeah, because it was like that after Sri Lanka in the tsunami. I remember that the tourism just stops because people don't want to interfere. They don't want to intrude on people's tragedy.
Nepal is working, Nepal's getting back on its feet, and it just needs people over in the UK and around the world to say, well, now's the time to visit.